Hey everyone, it's Jeff in New York, and we're back in New Orleans today visiting historic Jackson Square. It's named after President Andrew Jackson, who was a hero in the Battle of New Orleans. His famous statue is center stage here in the square. Sorry, it's been a week since my last post on this channel, but I had some serious hardware issues. But after some retooling, everything is up and running again, and as you can see, I think the video quality is actually a little better now. Just a reminder, this is Cray Cray the Crawfish from Louisiana. He shows up somewhere in all my New Orleans videos, so please help me find him. Be the first to spot Cray Cray in this video and leave a comment below with the timestamp you spotted him, and you'll get a shout out on an upcoming video on this channel. The Jack's Brewery Shopping Mall, the French Market, and the Café du Monde will all be featured in their own separate videos on this channel. The carriages in front of the square that we just passed offer half-hour rides all around the French Quarter. Finding Jackson Square is really quite simple. It's on the Mississippi River on Decatur Street, between the Jack's Brewery Shopping Mall and the French Market, in front of St. Louis Cathedral, and across the street from the square you'll find the world-famous Café du Monde. While in the square today, we'll not only visit the park, but we'll also visit the areas surrounding the park, including all the artists and musicians, and of course, St. Louis Cathedral. The original area was called Plaza de Armas, or Plaza de Armas as the Spanish called it, and it was used as a public square, military parade ground, and open-air market. On the northwest side stood a church, now St. Louis Cathedral, and the governor's mansion. Because of its central location, proximity to the river, and the presence of both a church and seat of government, the square was the epicenter of New Orleans life and the hub of local shipping and commerce. The Plaza de Armas continued to function in this capacity throughout the rule of the French, the Spanish, the French again, and then the American rule after the Louisiana Purchase, at which time the name was finally changed to Jackson Square. And here's the man himself, Andrew Jackson. If you want a better shot of what he looks like, just check out your $20 bills. There's lots of trees in the park offering shade, and that's a valuable commodity considering it's early Saturday morning, almost 90 degrees already, and the humidity is oppressive. And we're coming up on St. Louis Cathedral. It's the oldest cathedral in the United States, and we'll stop in shortly on this video. The palm trees on the right weren't here a year ago. They're an interesting addition, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they look like next year and the following years. And here we are coming up on some more shade and some hard partiers who are either starting the day off very early or their evening very late. They bought those green grenade drinks on Bourbon Street. As we leave the park gates, we come across the stores and apartment buildings that flank both sides of the park. The apartment buildings were apartment buildings actually over 300 years ago, and they're the oldest ones in the United States. The apartments are some of the most prestigious in the French Quarter. The shops run the gamut from gourmet restaurants and gourmet food shops to clothing boutiques and souvenir shops. The park was actually surrounded by streets until 1971, at which point the streets were closed, and in 1974 slate was laid down, and that's when it became an area for artists, street performers, and fortune tellers. This bronze man and his best friend are actually street performers. He lays there all day long and probably makes more money than most of us. What's really fascinating is that dog of his. You'll also find lots of art galleries in Jackson Square, but in New Orleans in general, it's loaded with art galleries up and down all the streets. Just as a point of reference, the Mississippi River is directly behind us. Royal Street is one street up from the square here, and Bourbon Street is right after that, 2 blocks up. Just as I turned the corner on St. Anne Street, a jazz procession was coming down the street. These things are amazing and they pop up everywhere around the French Quarter when you least expect it. Partygoers, music lovers, and just people who love to have a good time are more than welcome to follow the jazz procession. Unfortunately, like many American cities, New Orleans does have its share of homeless people. In the French Quarter, they're spread out pretty much for the most part during the daytime, but they all seem to converge here in Jackson Square in the evening, I guess to keep each other company, and of course there's safety in numbers. This artist that we're coming upon touts that his works are framed with wood from homes that were destroyed during Hurricane Katrina. It may be a good selling point, but I'm really not sure how I feel about the whole idea. And here we have the Tabasco shop on the left. Did you know Tabasco came from Louisiana? Did you? By the way, a quick shout out to Wise Malik, who found several of my mascots, including Cabby and Mitzi the Rubber Ducky Showgirl, in many of my videos. Also, Luck is Overrated found Cabby in my New York Chelsea Market video. Good job, guys. Keep looking out and try to find Cray Cray in my New Orleans videos now. That green and white awning up ahead is the world-famous Café du Monde, known for their café au lait and beignets, still at a very good reasonable price. The Café du Monde will be featured in my French Market video, and if you don't get there by 7 a.m., the line starts to stretch around the block. And I came back a little later in the day to visit St. Louis Cathedral, the oldest cathedral in the United States, which was closed during the beginning of this video. Pope John Paul II celebrated a Mass here in St. Louis Cathedral in 1987. He's the only sitting pope to visit New Orleans. And just a couple of quick clips of Jackson Square at night. It seems so peaceful here, hard to believe that only 2 small blocks away Bourbon Street is getting ready for another night of hard partying. And feel free to check out my Bourbon Street at Night video on this channel. And now we're coming upon one of those nighttime haunted ghosts of the French Quarter tours. It's 9 p.m. and it's still very hot and humid. Just ask these people. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like, comment, ask some questions, and most importantly, subscribe by clicking on the button on the left. You can visit all of my New York videos by clicking on the top right, or check out my videos on other favorite places to visit by clicking on the bottom right. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around the city.